Okay. I need your love, baby.
Wow, you really sounded like Jay-Z right there.
Oh, okay. Don't get me started. What's going on, beautiful people?
Hey, y'all.
We back.
My sunshine.
We back. Oh, it feels so good to be back on the couch.
On the couch.
On the couch.
Our lovely podcast couch.
Let's go, baby. How you feeling, man? Episode 4. We made it. We're already like halfway through the season.
Is it? Is that how they work?
I mean, I think the goal is to do 10 episodes.
10?
Yeah, that's a decent number, right? What you think?
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, huh?
Easy peasy.
Oh, you got that longevity. You ready for this life?
Well, what?
So obviously what she's trying to say is season 2, y'all stay out and stay ready for that. That's coming. Tap in with your boy. Yeah, I mean, so what's going on with you? What's been on your mind lately? What's been burdening your heart? Like what just tell me what's on the mind of Dana Harvey. And I know there's a lot on that mind of yours.
There's always a lot on my mind.
That's a fact.
I mean, I think parenting, a lot of that is on my mind just because it's summertime. So we got the kids home with us 24/7 and then no breaks. And it's a lot.
If anybody's looking for kids, we got 3 of them.
I got 3 for you.
We're willing to dish 1 or 2 off for the summer. We need to find Nana and Papa on the road somewhere. Y'all come get these kids and let's throw them in the RV for a couple of weeks.
Right? No. But we love it. We love traveling with our kids. It's just a lot. I feel like you need a vacation after you take a vacation with the kids because,
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you were a child, what did you used to do over the summer?
I went to my grandparents' house every summer.
Where'd you live when you were a kid?
Well, I'm from Idaho. And then like you're asking me that, like you don't know this.
They don't know this, so they need to know.
But my parents are both from California, so all their families there. We grew up in Idaho, so they would just ship it. Like we flew by ourselves a couple of times when we were kids, and we'd fly to California.
That's what I was trying to get to. That's the crazy part.
That is crazy, right?
Because how old were you?
I don't even remember, but I remember being little.
Like 6 years old, maybe 7?
No, maybe like 8.
8? Would you guys send your 8-year-old child on a plane by themselves during these times? Like, I don't know if that's not a thing anymore, is it?
No, but your parents did some wild stuff too, which I think we'll talk about that.
If you want to talk about what I did during the summer, we were just home alone. Like, literally, like you watched Home Alone? That was us. We were home alone.
Eating cereal.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Come on. Where my cereal babies at?
Oh my gosh. I really, I'm not a cereal person. Call me crazy. I don't do cereal and milk, so our kids don't do cereal and milk.
You don't think they do?
They better not be. But it's crazy to think that you literally ate that for dinner. Like that's crazy, babe.
That's what we used to do as kids. It was crazy when you said you didn't eat it for dinner. First of all, it's crazy that you never used to even eat cereal. Like what kind of where's your childhood?
Well,
you had no childhood.
I'm gonna live longer, that's for sure.
That's not for sure.
That's for sure.
That is not a fact. Anywho.
What are we talking about today, babe?
Honestly, I don't even know anymore.
Well, we're talking about parenting and how we can do it right.
That's right. I think we're talking about the 4 stages of parenting. And I think this is very important because a lot of, first of all, this is something that we learned in a parenting class that we did at our church.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. We kind of followed a template by Andy and Sandra Stanley, their book called Parenting Getting It Right.
Do you have the book? Is the book over there?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to give you some free promo. But yeah, Parenting Getting It Right. It was a very eye-opening study. Yeah. And this was probably the one section of the study that stood out to me the most. And I feel like it'll be so beneficial for parents, either if you have aspirations to be a parent or if you're in parenting. I think that this would be a good adjustment that you can make or something just to be aware of. Because I feel like children, they grow up so fast. It's like in a blink of an eye. Like our kid was born yesterday and now she's 8. I don't know what happened. She's 8?
No, she's 7. Babe.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what's happening anymore. I'm losing track. I don't
get it right.
But now she's 7. I know parenting, get it right, Matthew. And now she's 7. So it's like you don't realize how quickly it happens, but she's already in stage 2. And it's like, did we do stage 1 right?
We're like,
I guess we'll talk about that
well,
now.
I like to think of parenting as like a farmer. So like
you would think of farming. She's Idaho. See, I told y'all that's that Idaho in her. What you farming potatoes over there? What kind of farm?
There's a season to sow for farmers. That's there's good. No like cramming to like get the crop ready, right? There's no like, oh crap, we need to make potatoes like for next month. Like let's do this. Like there's a whole season that you have to do, and you have to take all of these like. I don't know how to describe it because I'm not actually a farmer, but
you don't say.
They have to
Let's just say seeds. Just keep it simple. Yeah, you got to put the seeds in the ground.
They have to do all these things to get it right. You
got to fertilize it
for that harvest.
You got to water it,
and that's what I think of parenting. So like we have these years of like sowing, and we don't actually know if the harvest is gonna be ripe or kind and happy and without trauma.
Your farm terminology right now is so fire. Like yo,
they're like I don't know, like maybe like 23. I feel like so. I like to think of and I do. Everyone kind of like makes fun of me, but I feel like I researched my way to motherhood because I do read all the books, but I read them with a grain of salt because I know that all of our kids are different. And so we're going to have to switch it up. But I just like to know all the things so I can see what I want to apply for my own kids. So like this is kind of one of those things for other parents out there. Like if you want to apply it, sure, go ahead. But like you don't have to. Right?
Parents have to consciously adjust their approach as kids seamlessly transition from one stage to the next. Too many parents never do, or they fall behind and are forced to play catch up.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into stage number 1. What's the first stage, babe?
1. That's the discipline years. So that's when between the
when the discipline year thing comes up on the bottom of the screen. You know that? Yeah, I know you know the sound effect. Mario, get on it. Nah.
Oh my gosh. So that's ages from 0 to 5. So I think this is pretty self-explanatory. Most people know that this is the time when you're teaching your kids discipline and people spank, some people don't, some people do timeouts, some people don't. Like there's just so many different ways of disciplining. But I think the goal of disciplining is to teach them that they have consequences, good or bad, to their actions. And so I just hope that, whichever technique that you use, that you are teaching them that. That's essentially the goal.
And that's the stage that we're in right now with 2 of our children.
2 of them, yeah.
So Penelope and Simeon. And listen, guys.
It's rough.
It is a difficult season.
But don't worry, it will pass.
It is difficult. And I'm sure, and those who do know, and people say that the teenage years are more difficult. So but I think that if you do these stages correctly, the teenage years shouldn't be as difficult as people say.
Right.
But I think just because
we don't know that yet. We'll soon get there.
Oh no, because I'm gonna do a good job disciplining, if you know what I'm saying. Oh my God. So them teenage years are gonna be a little, you know what I'm saying? But I think this is very, it's very good. And I think indication that we know that we did the disciplining years somewhat correctly with Pia is when Penelope and Simeon do something where disciplining needs to take place, she'll look at us like, ooh, they need to or they're not supposed to do that. Or Daddy, are you gonna, or she'll give me the look like, oh. I'm like, oh yeah, you know what time it is. Like, yeah.
Yeah. But so, during these years, these years, we're strengthening those obedience muscles that they have somewhere inside. But they have to learn that because kids aren't born that way. Like that's why we have to put little plastic covers over the outlets and chop up their food super small because they don't know the consequences of their actions just yet. They have to learn that, and they learn that from us. And so I think that's we're going to consistently discipline our kids in the right way, especially when it comes to being disobedient, dishonest, and disrespectful. I think those are like the 3 Ds that we kind of really show.
Yeah. And one thing that we started to kind of adopt after doing the study is actually using those words. when they do something. So I'm just like, that was very disrespectful, or I'm very disappointed in you, or that was, that was dishonest. So it's like,
well, disappointed isn't one, but
I'm disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in you. So it's just making sure, like, using those words just so they understand that, hey, what you did was wrong, and don't do that again. And that comes with the disciplining portion of it.
Yeah, so that they can learn how to like restore the relationship.
That's good.
Even though they're so young, I think that they have that natural instinct to just like people please a little bit. Like they want to make you happy. They want a bond closer to you. But when they do those things, it ruins, it hurts, it affects the relationship. And so teaching them the relationship aspect of obedience, I think is really important.
Yeah. And then I also want, when they get it right, make sure you reward them.
Yeah.
I think that's huge too. And we're going through a season right now with Simeon where he don't want to eat nothing.
Yeah.
He don't want to eat nothing. So when he finally takes a bite of a French fry, I'm like, you go, boy.
Yeah.
You eat that French fry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like when Pia went through, this is great. I loved it. When Pia went through potty training, and whenever she'd finally get it in the toilet, we throw a party.
Yeah.
Man, I'm surprised we didn't have confetti. Like, we were like,
yeah. Just all the things. Yeah, we did just that exact dance. We did that every time she went potty in the potty.
I could go more into the couch. I would.
Oh my gosh.
We was doing it all. So that was good.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're in the thick of the disciplining era for two of our kids, but then Pia, she is in the next stage, and that is the training years. That's ages 5 to 12. Do you want to talk about that one?
I actually just deleted all my notes, so you have to give me 1 second. I was dancing too hard, and I was like, I think I deleted all my notes here. So y'all, go ahead, take it away.
Right,
go ahead, take it away.
Okay,
let me find these real quick.
Oh my Lord. So the training years, this is the part where we kind of explain why. This is like where we get behind rules and expectations.
Your job as a parent is to train while you explain. Oh, the notes is back. Y'all hear that? Okay. You got to train. Yeah, let's go, Mario. What is that?
Oh my gosh, babe, you're about to delete your notes again.
Well, I don't know where that. I wasn't ready for that. Mario, you got to let me know when you're going to do something like that.
Sit down. You scared the dog.
Whoa.
Like, what's happening
Yeah, I didn't even know we could do that. Wow, see, your episode 4, we're taking off. I told you, halfway through, we start acting different.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, you got to pick it up. Mario, you got to give me a heads up, fam. Okay, oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Train while you explain. Okay, so this is the season that we're in with Pia right now.
Yeah.
And it's not as much disciplining anymore. So when she does something wrong, she knows when she does something wrong.
Yeah.
And we're training her. Yeah, there still may be a timeout here and there if it's something new. We may have to discipline her for a new action, but if it's something that's like that she's aware of and that she knows that she shouldn't have done, then it's like, hey, like
we
come
talk
on.
about it. Yeah.
Like and I ask her the question sometimes, which is really nice. I'm like, were you supposed to do that?
Yeah.
And she's able to give me a response. I'm like, oh, why weren't you supposed to do that? So she knows this is a part of the training stage when you're having these type of conversations with your kids.
Yeah. And this is a good thing. This is a good time for them to turn these this good behavior, these new skills and whatnot into habits. I think that
I'm on one right now.
You're really struggling over here. That's why you need like a seatbelt or something. Like, don't leave your spot. Okay,
my bad. We're good.
So, basically, I really think that this is an important stage because I see it with some of our like other little kids, and I even see it in myself. But like little kids, kind of it's a natural instinct for self-preservation. So it feels right to lie about something because it saves their face. It saves their self. Like, it doesn't make them look bad if they withhold the truth. So then this is kind of like one of the takeaways that I took from the book is really just to showing them that what they're doing, their actions, what they're saying, that affects our relationship, and explaining that. So they feel bad about lying to us because that ruins our relationship versus lying to us and self-preserving what they look like, I guess. I kind of butchered that, but basically I just
But it was
felt
so
like
beautifully butchered, though. You did a great job with that. I kind of, something just came to mind is I remember, because sometimes they do make innocent mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess you're going to have to elaborate on this because I heard the back end of the conversation where I guess Pia was kind of body shaming Penelope the other day. But she thought, I don't know if she called her fat or I don't know what it was, but she was,
well,
it was,
I got to the bottom of that because
it was,
we
yeah.
do not body shame.
Yeah,
here.
I wasn't sure where you were about to go with that. So, so I like how you handled it, because it was really just an innocent, like she was just talking and she thought she was being funny and it wasn't.
Penny is so skinny.
Oh, okay, that's what. So she said she was skinny.
Look,
Okay,
Penny, you look so skinny. Mm-hmm. And I was like, because she's mentioned once before, she's like, oh, my belly looks so fat, and I was like, girl, what? And I found out where it's coming from. And I'm like, first of all, we're going to stop that right there. And then you kind of have to explain things more. Because now, like, when Penelope and Simi are smaller, you think, like, you tell them something, and then that's kind of that. That's it. And now this is the time where you tell them something, like not to do something or to do something, and you explain why that is. And so these things that you're teaching them are going to help them learn life skills to, like, be better people and succeed and stuff like that. So, like, I kind of think about it in this this one instance that we parented Pia. It was for a video, but it was a good learning lesson, teachable moment. Is that we put a bunch of candy in front of her and we told her not to eat it until we come back, and we put the camera on her, but she didn't know the camera was on her, and so we walked away, and both of us walked away, and she's in the room by herself with all this candy. She's like putting her fingers through it and playing with all their jelly beans and, like, you know, but she didn't eat anything. And when we came back, we asked her, like, oh, did you eat one? And she's like, no, I didn't eat any. And we're like, okay, now you can have one. So we're teaching them these little lessons that become habit forming, where there's definitely some positive affirmation and waiting, or for instance, like opening doors for people, teaching that to this age that's really young. It's like showing how they can honor others and things like that. So, like, these are teachable moments where we teach them, you know, you do this XYZ, and this is why.
Yeah,
and that's kind
really
of
good.
Do you have any other, like, examples of training years?
No, I think that was pretty good. I think we put some good examples out there, but I just want to make sure. I don't know if we said the years for that. So we had the discipline years, which is 0 to 5.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and then the training years, which was 5 to 12. And then we go into the coaching years, where we have a shift here. This is 12 to 18, where there's a shift from correction to connection. Mm-hmm. And these years are very important because this is where you want to make sure that you're having that connection with your kids so that they're coming to you for guidance and support. Mm-hmm. And this is probably going to be one of my favorite years. You're being a little bit more observant during the season. And it's like if they do something wrong, like just like a coach would, you know, in a regular game, they call a timeout. Put them on the bench, have a conversation with them. Mm-hmm. So I think this is something that we kind of already apply with Pia a little bit. And it's probably gonna be one of my favorite years because this is where the connection truly start to develop with your children.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like you're watching, you're observing, you're sitting on the sidelines. I like that analogy. I think that's going to be the hardest for me because
you can see
I gotta
who has the control issues. Mm-hmm.
I got to just let them fail sometimes. You know, I can't always be there to correct their mistakes or always be like telling them what to do. You know, you can't be that buffer between them and their natural consequences. And what's so funny is I thought of this example that you told me. When you miss the bus on purpose.
Oh man.
And your dad made you walk to school.
Yo, and the school was like 8 miles away. It was like.
And what's crazy is that, like, he could have driven you. But he wanted you to learn. And that's a good teachable moment because you have to realize, like, if you are doing, as a parent, if you're doing.
School was almost over by the time I got there. I was sweaty too. I was like, can I have some water? Like. That was funny.
Yeah. So I mean, I think...
And it probably wasn't 8 miles. It was probably more like 4 miles, but it was still a long walk. That was a lot of walking. Man, all right. Listen, we built character early.
Yeah. So I think that was a good teachable moment because, you know, you can't... Your parents... As a parent, I feel like we always want to step in and be like, oh, you know, so and so, your child's acting up in school, and be like, no, they're not. Like, it's so and so. Like, you're trying to always like push the blame or just always be a buffer to like save them, but then they're not gonna grow up and like learn. So you got to let them fail sometimes, but you got to sit back and like wait. But I think by doing that and by cultivating like good conversation with them, that they'll come to you for guidance and conversation about things. So it's not necessarily you just watching them and them trying to figure it out. But I think by stepping back and not being in those training years and being like, oh, you can't do this because of this. You can't do that. I'm not letting you go here because of XYZ. You kind of step back, and then this is where they put the training years into practice, and you sit back and you wait for them to come to you.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely one of those stages where I'm kind of torn between like, oh, I'm really going to enjoy it versus like, yeah, I am a little fearsome. Obviously the joyful part of it is being on the sideline and watching your kids and watching them succeed and watching them do things right and watching them be successful. And you're like, yeah, okay, that means that we did the first 2 stages correctly. Mm-hmm. So that's the uplifting part. And that's the part that encourages me. Now, the part that I'm a little fearsome about, because this goes from 12 to 18, right? And this is probably what drives me the most to really dive deep in my relationship with God, is because when they come to me for guidance and support, I want to make sure that I'm providing them with the right foundation of whatever knowledge and information that they need in order to receive that, absorb it, and then be a better person afterwards. So I would encourage people to prepare for these years, because I feel like the coaching year is, in my opinion, the most crucial. Because this is where you guys are starting to build that relationship and where you're truly mentoring your children. Mm-hmm. Because now they're at an age where they're starting to understand things on a different level, and now you're their mentor. So it's like, who are you learning from? Where are you getting your information from? Are you mentoring them properly? So I think it's very important that we're preparing ourselves for this stage of life.
Yeah, I think it's important because when we talk about connection with our kids, like, I think this is the stage when people kind of tell us like, oh, get ready. Like, they're not going to talk to you.
Yeah, like I said, like the 0 to 5 is hard, but people said that this is the hardest.
But I talk to my parents all the time. I grew up in that
Dana,
stage.
You're not normal. You're not normal.
I think it's because my parents did a pretty good job.
Do you remember how nerdy we were talking about you were in the first episode? Like, you're just different.
No, but like,
you're the headgear child. You used to hide in your room to read books when they told you to go to sleep. She had a nightlight under her blanket when they told her to go to sleep, and she would like hide. You know what I was hiding in my room? It wasn't books. I'm just trying to let people know that you're different. You're different.
Well, I'm just saying that that's the kind of relationship that I want with my kids. So I want to connect on a level. So what I'm getting at is that you should truly be a student to your child. So you are interested in what they're interested in. Even if you're not, like, you get into it. You figure out what it is that they like and you jump in there too. Like, if Penelope starts to get into Pokemon, I'm going to learn all the characters.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to download the Pokemon Go app?
I'm going to buy a binder.
All I got to do is press a button and it re-downloads. So I hope that she's into it. I'll go catch them all, like Ash.
Oh my gosh. Because I remember, like, this is something that I remember doing, and I think that's why I feel so comfortable writing and reading, is that I used to write these short stories. Like, I don't know, whatever popped up in my head.
I told you, she's a nerd. I just love the confirmations of how nerdy you were. But go ahead, continue.
I would write these.
I did this when I was like 6 years old. Like, how old were you when you were doing these short stories?
I don't know. Maybe I keep saying 8. I think 8.
8 was your year, huh? Wow.
So, anyways, I would write these short stories.
That was your prime.
And like in the you're so annoying. Anyways, but my parents would sit there and they would listen to it no matter what they were doing, or if they're like cooking dinner, they're like, yeah, read it to me. Oh, that was like, they would give me feedback or something, or when I like loved rearranging my room, my parents never told me not to do that. They're just like, okay, yeah, sure. And I remember my dad, I remember I put my bed in the middle of my room because I just wanted all these like new ways to express myself with my room and everything. I put my bed in the middle. My dad's like, it's very eclectic. And instead of like shunning me or like
move that bed back. That's what me. I was like, if you don't move your bed back in the corner, taking up all the space in the room. What's wrong with you?
They took interest in what I liked, and so I think that that's important.
No, that is really important. I think that's one of the main reasons why I try to be as fit as I can be at this age, is because I want to make sure that when they get to this stage of life, I can go and do whatever activities I need to do or they want me to do with them. So if they want to go mountain climbing, I'm gonna go mountain climbing. They want to play soccer.
What mountains, sir? We are in Florida.
Listen, that's a great question, but we gonna find some mountains if they want to go mountain climbing. If they want to go row a boat, I'm gonna go row a boat. If they want to jump out a plane, I'm gonna jump out a plane with them. Like whatever they are interested in doing, I want to make sure that I'm in the best shape physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of that. I want to make sure all of that is prepared for this stage of life so that I can have experiences with my kids that you had with your parents where they were just all in, where they're all in. So prepare yourselves now, parents. I think this is good.
Yeah. And then what's the final stage?
So the final stage, that's kind of scary for me, but this is the part where you have fun, right? This is the fun stage.
This is the friendship.
This is the friendship years. This is 18 and older. So these are the years where now you like you said, we're going to use that farmer analogy again, where now the seed that you planted and you fertilized and you sowed and you watered and you gave it the sunlight it needed, and now it's blossoming into this beautiful potato field. I'm going to do potato for you. I got you. And now the potato is ready to eat. Now, I'm not saying eat your children, but what I am saying is that the harvest is now here for you to enjoy. So this is the friendship years, right, 18 or older, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think like this is the time where we switch from where your relationship gets a little bit free and it turns into friendship. It can turn into friendship if you did things right. But you're no longer involved in their daily mundane tasks and things to do. Now they've either gone off to college or moved out and got a job, and now you're just there like if they want to come back to you. And that's kind of scary. Yeah,
that's good. And if you did it right, they'll want to come back.
Hopefully that's the goal.
But that is the goal. That's a part of our North Star, right?
Yeah. Well, explain to people what the North Star
is. Well, we can't get into that yet. Let me dive a little bit more into the friendship years.
Okay.
Because the friendship 18 and older, this is where they do it wrong. And even not even starting in the coaching years, going into the friendship years, if you're still disciplining your children during these years, you did it all wrong. And that's why I think that it's so important to understand these stages, because I want us to be proactive and not reactive in our parenting. And if we're trying to put our kids in timeout during the friendship years, like yeah, right. They're like, I'm an adult. I'm gonna go live my life. Like So I think as long as you do the previous steps correctly, it makes this stage so much more enjoyable. And that's what I want. I want to enjoy these years with my kids. I want to be able to go out and have them invite me to their parties, and I can like yeah, it's my cool dad. Like, yeah.
I don't think they're gonna say that.
You don't think they're gonna? I'm still gonna be doing like, what am I gonna do? What's the dance that I'll be doing then? Am I still gonna be like doing the jerk? And they're gonna be like, Dad, nobody jerk. And I'm gonna be bopping, literally, but nobody knows what a bop is. They don't
know what a bop or a jerk is. They do what's that? Floss.
Or they're flossing
dance.
Oh yeah, our kids do not know it. But I'm saying that's what the dance I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be bopping. They're gonna be like, yo, what is it? First of all, my knees.
You're not going to be bopping. I can't even bop now. Not with these knees. You're not going to be bopping.
Oh my gosh! Like I didn't just have an MRI on my knee.
No, you'll be sitting down, but you may be playing dominoes with them. I don't know.
Okay, I'm right with that. As long as I'm invited.
But I do want to point out this one part. And honestly, because our kids aren't at these stages, I've kind of like pulled a lot from like just how we grew up and like how like our parents did it and like what we were going through those stages. But during this stage, it's like kind of hard to hear like unsolicited advice because it just feels like criticism. So, I'm not asking for that. advice, so don't give it to me, kind of thing. And so if they give it to me, I feel like they're just criticizing whatever I'm doing, and that makes me pull back, and like I don't want to have a relationship or like come to you for things. So like I think that that's something that I'm going to try to remember, because for me, I feel like I give too much unsolicited advice, like in all stages, like in any area of life. I need to hold back on that for sure. So
I try not to nod my head too much to that. I try to like stay still. Yeah, once you get mad, it's like, yeah.
I have a good example though of how my parents in the later stages, like in the coaching years, they were able to discipline me without disciplining me in a certain way. But basically they kind of like were able to connect something I did wrong to restoring a relationship, which I think is more impactful than just like punishment. You know what I mean? So like, for example, I got a car when I was like 15, and it was like this really fast sports car.
15
like red.
Must be nice. Wow.
Yeah, in Idaho you can drive at 14 and a half. So
what?
I got this car really early, obviously.
Wait, time out. You're not just gonna run through that.
What do you mean? Like
14 and a half? People were driving out there?
I got my permit when I was 14 and a half.
That's the first problem. I think we need to start there. You shouldn't have been behind the wheel at 14 and a half.
People are driving tractors and stuff at like age 8, so.
What are you talking about right now? Where did you live?
Idaho.
This is not in the United States of America.
Idaho. Go.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, proceed.
But anyways, my Idaho peeps can relate. So anyways.
The 3 people. Yeah, I can let you have a broad population.
He's such a hater. But
my Idaho peeps. Yeah, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
Anyways, let me finish my story. So I had this super fast car at age 15. That's crazy. So I actually crashed it into a canal.
That's nasty
with
work.
2 other people in my car. I was going around a turn way too fast and ran. I hit a tree and went into a canal, and we floated down a little bit until the tree underneath us got stuck. And then we ended up climbing out of the windows, and like my car literally, it took 2 tow trucks to get the car out. So anyways, I thought of it like, oh my gosh, my parents are gonna be so pissed. Like they're gonna be so mad that I just like totaled this car that they got me. And my dad, obviously, like he was mad. He was really mad. But he told me that I needed to write letters to the 2 people, to their parents, the 2 people that were in my car, to their parents, and tell them how I could have almost killed their children because of how reckless I was being. So it was like directly correlating my actions to a relationship. And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because I didn't think about it like that. When you're 15, 16 years old, you're not like, oh my gosh, like, you know, you're not thinking about those actions. I was thinking like, oh, my parents are going to ground me. I'm not going to have a car, this and that. But no, he switched it where it was like a learning lesson for me to connect my consequences to like a relationship and how I have to restore that. And instead of being like, oh, you're grounded and I'm taking away your car, like I probably wouldn't have learned a lesson from that. I would have just been freely, recklessly driving in a couple more months whenever I got another car or something like that, you know? So I think that was a pivotal learning moment for me. And I want to be able to take those moments that we can, where we can teach a more valuable lesson versus just punishment for their consequences where they don't actually learn anything.
Yeah, I think that's really good. And it just kind of made me think of growing up in my childhood, where, and this, I think this happens a lot with Christian households, and I don't want to throw Christians in a box, but I see it a lot, and I don't know, maybe it's just in my culture. Y'all can comment and let me know how it was in your house, but it was hard to be completely transparent with your parents, because you always felt like the response from them was just always very harsh. And I think that's something that I learned from, and I want to make sure that I take a different route. And I would encourage all parents to take a different route on this. And this usually happens during those training and coaching years, I would say more the coaching years, because this is when, 12 to 18 years old, these are teenage years where you're going to make stupid decisions. Your kid may be drinking, they may come home high, they may have had sex for the first time, and it's like they don't know, like they're scared to talk to their parents about these things because they're afraid of the reaction that their parents are going to give. Because it's just so shunned upon, especially the way some preachers deliver the message. It's just like they make it sound like you're going to go to hell if you take a sip of beer or if you drink alcohol, whatever it is. Like they just make it seem like it's the end of the world, and it really makes children during this stage like kind of go in a shell, and instead of going to their parents to talk to them about it, they're going to other people. They're going to their friends, friends who are going through the same things they're going through, or they're going to teachers. And people know how the public school system is now. Like it's something that you definitely want to be careful with, and make sure that your home is a safe place.
Yeah, but I also want to clarify that I don't think you mean, and I know you don't mean this, but like you don't want to be friends with your kids like no, that. And I'm not saying that at all. Yeah, for sure. But I think,
but it's just how it's just your reaction. Your reaction is what I'm saying. It's like don't overreact, because if they finally find that moment where they're like, okay, I'm going to tell my dad, and they tell you, and you blow up, they're like, oh, I can't talk to him about anything. And now the relationship is shifting, and instead of you being that mentor, and instead of you being able to coach and guide them during those years, it's like they've turned away, and now they're probably doing more of the thing you didn't want them to do because they're not being steered in the right direction by their parents.
Right.
So I just think we just need to be very, very careful with that.
Yeah, I think also having a really good positive to negative ratio in how you talk to your kids.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, because if you're consistently saying negative things to your kids, or always like reprimanding them, or, commenting on something that they're doing wrong, I think that just discourages them from talking to you in general. And it makes any kind of impactful thing that you do have to say not be impactful. So the book had a really good example where his mom was always so positive, always said all these nice things, was always encouraging, never looking down on him or anything. But he went to college and he kept failing out. He kept getting bad grades, and he was on the cusp of being kicked out of college. And she's like, oh, let's have lunch. And he's thinking he's going to meet up with her, and she's going to be like, you can do it. I know you can. But instead of saying something encouraging or positive or uplifting, she said something like, well, college isn't for everybody. And that made him be like, what? Like, I was not expecting that from my mom. Like, she really doesn't think that I can do this. He's like, I'm going to prove to her. And so he ended up going back to school and finishing out and graduating with good grades and everything. And I think that's impactful in the sense of like, you're positive, you're encouraging all the time. So if you do say something negative, they're going to really pay attention to that. They're going to really pick up on that.
I think that was good. What do you think?
I think so. Do you want to talk to people about what the North Star is? Because I think that's important, of why we go through these stages and what the end goal is for why we do this, for why we want to parent the best possible way in these stages, and knowing what we're supposed to do right.
So I don't know if I have the best words to explain how the North Star works, but I'm gonna say what our North Star is, and let's see if we can work backwards on this. So our North Star for our children is for them to love Jesus and to love people. Right? So that is it's like the end goal in your parenting. Like, what do you want your kids, like, what do you want that staple thing to be? What do you want that foundational thing for them to be when they get older, when they become of age, like when they leave the nest? What is something that when people see them, they're like, oh, they love people. Yeah. They love Jesus. So it's like, that's kind of what I think of the North Star. It's like you have a direction that you want to go. When you look up in the sky and you see that North Star, it's like that. I know that that's the destination that we want to go and that we want to achieve. So it's like, what do we need to do to get from point A to point B? And point B is being that North Star. So
yeah. I think that's good, because like now when you go through these stages and how you discipline and how you train and how you coach, those are all cultivating to the goal. So like, you're going to train them in ways that show them how to love people and to love Jesus. And you're going to discipline them in a way where they realize that this is done because of like loving each other, loving their parents, loving God and stuff like that. So it's good to have that goal so that you know how you're going to parent, because if you're just going to go free willy into it, you're going to be playing catch up at the end, and you're not going to have that long season of harvest. So
yeah, someone is going to mold your kids. Mm-hmm. Will it be you?
Hope so.
Got any final words and advice for the people?
Oh,
I forgot. I mean, this is episode 4, and we haven't done like the formalities yet. I know this is not the time for this, but I'm going to say, hey guys, if you guys like what you guys are hearing, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps with the algorithm, and it really helps us push this information to the people that need to see it. Mm-hmm. So if you can, just take a quick moment, please. Like and subscribe if you like what you're hearing. And hey, you know what? It doesn't hurt if you share it with a friend. You know, tell a coworker, tell a brother, tell a sister, and let them know that we're here to add value to their lives. And we're willing and want and desire to walk through the journey with you.
Yes.
Oh, are we going to clip that?
I mean,
oh yeah, that was, do we just throw that at the beginning of every episode?
It's like the promo for the whole podcast right there.
So I want to leave with this though. It was actually a really good line that I heard the other day that said that your parenthood will outlive you, but will live in your kids forever.
That's really good. Let's just leave it on that note. Let them digest that little nugget.
What time is it right now? It's 9:00. We got to go pick up Simi.
Oh my gosh. He's at the babysitter's.
Yeah. Shout out to Auntie Indy. I appreciate you.
Auntie Indy, you're the best.
All right, let's go get our son. All right, love you guys, man. Peace and love.
Bye.
God bless. Yeah. Matt, you made it the whole